About a minute before we get started. I hope everybody's business is going full speed ahead. I hope you are seeing where you want to go and going there one step at a time, knowing that, every small step you take is going to get you there. And it doesn't all happen in one big step. You have to take many, 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 many tiny steps that all accumulate. So, and if there's a day that goes by where you're not making steps, then we're stagnant, and nobody wants to have a stagnant business, right? This business is very hard to build slowly. It's very easy to build fast. So once you have momentum, and I'm sure you've all experienced momentum, then you start to get that wind underneath your wings. So, all right, it's top of the hour. So I had texted somebody to be our trainer this morning, but she's been in another training, and obviously the text got mixed up with all our other texts. So I'm going to train you guys today on a concept of the importance of getting on a call. Okay, we've been doing a lot of social media, right, and reaching out, but that oftentimes is reaching out to strangers. It's depending on which social media you're reaching out on. LinkedIn is a little bit more business oriented, a lot more business oriented than Facebook. Facebook's kind of a social gathering spot. So one of the rules of ASEA, as far as I'm concerned, is, it's important to stay in your lane, but it's important to have many lanes. So I would recommend not just doing social media, not just doing phone calls, not just doing live events, not just doing this, not just doing that, because there's lots of ways that you can reach out to people. So what I want to talk about today is reaching out by phone, the importance of reaching out by phone. And when you're reaching out by phone, it's very important that you get on the phone. And one of the best questions you can ask when you get somebody live, and some people, when they freak out when they get somebody live, they go, oh my gosh, I was really hoping I would get the answering machine, right? Because it's so scary to talk to somebody, right? But you should get really excited when somebody physically answers the phone, because now, I don't know, the way I look at it, it's divine intervention, and this is meant to be. That's how I take it. If I call somebody and they're not there, I'm just not supposed to talk to them right there then. So number one question, when you call somebody and they don't answer, do you leave a message? I would say yes. When you call somebody and they pick up, what's one of the first questions you ask them? One of the first basic concepts is, I tell somebody, hey, David, it's Cindy Buck. Do you have a second? Okay, that is my opening line with every single phone call that I'm making, whether it's a personal phone call or whether it's a business phone call. Now, it might seem funny for me to say Cindy Buck when I'm calling Peg Coates, because Peg Coates knows that it's Cindy Buck, not just Cindy, right? But guess what? Peg Coates is a pretty influential person, and Peg Coates was a teacher, and Peg Coates has a lot of Cindys in her life. At least I'm going to pay her that respect. And so I don't want to have her not listening to me when I get her on the phone, because she's thinking, Cindy, which Cindy is this? And trying to match my voice with right? Has that ever happened to you guys? So I always identify who I am by my first name and my last name. So they go, oh, Cindy Buck. Okay, hey, what's going on, But then I ask them, hey, do you have a second to talk? Okay, and I don't care if I'm calling my kids, or if I'm calling my best friend, or if I'm calling a business person, or whoever I'm calling, I always ask them, do you have a good time to talk? Because I don't know about you, but I'm not just sitting next to my phone waiting for it to ring, right? I'm usually doing something and the phone rings and it takes me away from what I was doing. And, then I answer it, sometimes reluctantly. And so, when I find out it's Peg Coates calling me, then, I love Peg, but sometimes I'd like to talk to her in 5 minutes, not right then. Okay. I'd like to finish what I was doing and then call her back in 5 minutes. But sometimes it's awkward unless she gives me an opening. And if she says, hey, do you have a minute to talk? I would say, oh, shoot, you know what? Let me just finish what I was doing. I'll call you back. Are you gonna be around in 5 minutes? Yes. Okay, great. I'll call you in 5 minutes. Okay. So just a basic phone principle is, number one, identify yourself by your first name and your last name, right? And ask them if they have a minute to talk. Okay. Then be short and sweet. Okay. Because people are in a texting mentality these days. Okay. Messages are short and sweet. Attention spans are short. Demands on people are heavy. Okay. So don't assume that if you're doing a SIA full time, don't assume that this person has all day to talk to you. Okay. So, you know, if you can identify a time frame, hey, I just want to talk to you for a couple minutes, you know, it's not going to be a long phone call. Don't worry, you know, and tell them the reason that you called for. Okay. Now, getting on the phone is as important as getting off the phone. Okay. You are a busy person building an ASEA business. And when you're doing your 20 minutes that we're going to do here in 3 seconds, you want to make lots of phone calls. It's a numbers game. Okay. Yes. You want to treat people like people, not objects, right? So you don't want to just, you know, treat them like they're phone call number 4 or phone call number 5, right? You want to treat them like, hey, I'm going to call Adam now. I'm going to call Deb now. I'm going to call David now, right? So there's a balance there. You know, communication is an art, not a science. So what sorry, that's distracting. I just got a phone call. What your assignment is for the next 20 minutes is to make as many phone calls as you can, hoping that you're going to get a live person on the other end of the phone. When they answer the phone, you're going to tell them who you are, and you're going to ask them if they have a second to talk. You're going to tell them, you know, hey, I want to know if you're open to taking a look at what I'm doing. I know you're a really successful accountant. I don't know if this is something you'd be interested in or not, but when I think about people that have incredible business skills, I think of you. And I don't know if you'd be interested in in doing this with me, but it's definitely worth a look. Would you be open to looking at some information if I send it to you, whatever? And they say yes, or they say no. And then your objective is to get off the phone, not, well, what is it? Deb, tell me all about it. And then you start blah, 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 and you lose them. Okay. So that's the assignment for the next 20 minutes. We'll see you at 9:25.